Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. We are back with a little Star Wars Unlimited, and in today's video I want to do a little deck tech. I was opening some boxes off stream, and as luck would have it, we were able to open a showcase, and we got Director Krennic. I know he's not really being talked about a lot in the meta. If you're following any of the circles, he's not one of the more popular decks. But I wanted to go ahead and take a shot at building Director Krennic, so that's what we did. I've played around with it on Force Table a bit, and I actually ended up really liking the result. So I'm going to share that result with you. Might not be the greatest deck, but it's fun to play. So what Director Krennic does is, as a leader, he gives each friendly damaged unit +1/+0, and he deploys if you control 5 or more as a 2/7. While he is a 2/7 as a leader unit, he has Restore 2 and gives each friendly damaged unit +1/+0. So coming down on 5 is a turn earlier than some of the meta guys, meta leaders right now, and I believe it's on par with Sabine. I can't remember off the top of my head when she comes down. I believe she's a 5 as well. So the big aggro deck, it comes down around the same time as the big aggro deck and buffs your board. Obviously, in order to utilize his ability, we want damaged units. The best way to do that in some cases is damage them yourself, and we'll get into that here. I decided to pair Krennic with Tarkentown. So we are Krennic Red, and what Tarkentown is a 25 hit point base that has an epic action of deal 3 damage to a damaged non-leader unit. So this allows you to attack into a Boba Fett legendary unit with a Death Star Stormtrooper, and then finish it off with a Tarkentown. So it's just nice to be able to pick off a bigger unit using that. We're going to get into the deck tech here. We'll talk about the space units first, and leading the way we have Inferno 4. We have 3 copies of Inferno 4. That is a 2/3 that when played or defeated, you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and you may put them on the bottom. So basically, it's very good early game deck shaping, so you can keep more questionable hands. And the fact that it happens on entry and on defeat is awesome. The second space unit we're using is a Distant Patroller as a 3 of, and what's nice about this one is when it's a 2/1, and when it's defeated, you can give a shield token to a blue unit. We have a fair amount of blue units in the deck, and being able to protect your units late game is a very good thing for a 2-drop. Next up is 3 of Imperial Interceptor. This is just space damage. You're able to play it. It's a 3/2, and you're able to play it to deal 3 damage to another space unit. That comes in handy, obviously, in the space realm, or popping a shield off of something, or just outright taking out the cartel spacers, stuff like that. The big hitter in the space arena for us is Ruthless Raider. We are running this as a 3 of. This card has been kind of the MVP for me in a lot of games, because it is another when played and when defeated ability. You deal 2 damage to an enemy base and 2 damage to an enemy unit. So it allows you to push damage into the base while potentially dealing with units. So that's kind of a nice unit there. That's the space. That's all we're running for space. We have those 12 cards. As far as the ground arena, we are starting out with Death Star Stormtroopers. They are literally just a 3/1 for 1. They're just a nice early game unit. We're also running Viper Probe Droid, which when played, you get to look at your opponent's hand. That card is a 3/2, which it has good stats for a turn 1 card, and it also gives you information, which is very important in card games. So getting information is nice, but what to do with that information, we are running a 2 of Regional Governor, which allows you to name a card while Regional Governor is in play. Opponents can't play the named card. So this lets you shut off an Overwhelming Barrage or shut off a Boba Fett or what have you until they deal with your Regional Governor. So it's very good board control, and it combos nicely with Viper Probe Droid. In our 3-drop slot, we have 3 Death Troopers, and this is where we start getting into the self damage. You can use Death Trooper to deal damage to itself, then run your Distant Patroller into another space unit, gives the Death Trooper a shield. So it becomes removal, and then it becomes difficult to deal with. It's a 3/3 for 3. Very good card. Just might be the best common in the game. Also, the Surge Foil is beautiful. Look at that. Yeah. All right, so we're running that as 3 of. This guy, fifth brother, really helps utilize Director Krennic's ability. This is the first card that this and Death Trooper really push Director Krennic's ability, in that when you play a 5th brother and attack with it the first time, you can deal 1 damage to itself and another ground unit. So you're pinging that other ground unit, but more importantly, you're giving yourself raid 1 and +1/+0. So this becomes a 4/4 on its first attack, and on its second attack it becomes a 5/4, and on its third attack it becomes a 6/4. You don't want to do a 4th attack with it. Well, you want to do the 4th attack, but you don't want to use its on-attack ability a 4th time because it dies. Your opponent will have likely dealt with it by then, but it still, as a 3-drop, comes down and does a lot of damage. So that's a very good card in this deck. And rounding out our 3 slot is a Cell Block Guard, because sometimes you just need to take the attention off of your other more important units, and Sentinel does a great job of doing that. So you play your Regional Governor, name Boba Fett. They can't deal with it right away. Your next turn you get to play a Cell Block Guard. Now they have to attack into the Cell Block Guard. Your Regional Governor survives another turn. It's just an excellent deterrent to force them to pay attention to it instead of your more important cards. We are running a full playset of Count Dooku. Dooku is a great late game card because he comes down shielded, and he can defeat a unit with 4 or less remaining hit points when he comes into play. So that being able to potentially clear out, hopefully you're clearing out a opponent's unit every time you're playing him, turns him into an automatic 2-for-1, but his stat line of a 5/4 means he could possibly be a 3-for-1. If they're attacking you with the Death Star Stormtroopers or Viper Probe Droids, he becomes a 3-for-1 because he will defeat a unit on play, and then they have to use 2 units to defeat him. So Duke is just very strong card in any matchup. I just believe Dooku is a good card. And then we are running a full playset of Emperor Palpatine. Again, this is our top end. If you're seeing Palpatine, you don't want to see Palpatine too often as on the board state, but when he does come down, he usually finishes the game for you. He has a 6/6 for 8 overwhelm, and when played deals 6 damage divided as you choose among enemy units. So again, he serves as a board wipe against the aggro decks, a pseudo board wipe against the aggro decks that are running the low toughness creatures. And that rounds out our ground arena. I'm going to go ahead and pick those up, and we're going to talk about our removal suite. We are running a full 15 cards of removal because we are kind of venturing into a control deck, but we're not really. I don't want to call it a mid-range deck because it has a lot of control elements to it, but it doesn't have any big board wipes or anything. But we are running full playsets of Open Fire, which is 4 damage to a unit for 3. Power of the Dark Side, which is an opponent chooses a unit that they control, and this just defeats that unit. Power of the Dark Side is very good against control decks and decks that are running low unit counts. or if you're able to clear out whatever units are on the board to leave their big unit, then you power the dark side. They have to sacrifice that unit. Make an opening is just great. It clears out early creatures, early units, and it gives 2 extra damage or 2 health back to your base. So make an opening is a great card here. Force choke. The only thing I don't like about force choke is it lets your opponent draw a card, but we're running enough force units that playing this for 1 to get 5 damage out of it is kind of absurd. Even at 2, 5 damage is pretty good. The drawback is that your opponent gets a draw card, but it's still a solid removal spell. And then takedown. A full playset of takedown is defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining hit points. So that is the main deck. Moving into the sideboard, I haven't played a lot of sideboard matches where sideboarding has been necessary. So my sideboard is kind of theorycraft right now. I have, in the sideboard, I have the 3rd Regional Governor. I have 2 Delmico for any Cunning matchups, because Cunning relies an awful lot on events. So if you can slow their events down, sometimes it's enough of a disruption to their game that it allows you to press through. I'm also running 2 Jedha Agitators, because this card against aggro, if you can get your leader down, and your leader's a turn 5 leader, so if you can get 2 Jedha Agitators down on the next turn they survive, you flip your leader, and then all of a sudden you're attacking with Jedha Agitators, dealing 2, and then 2 additional each. That's a pretty big turn. So I like that against aggro, or any matchup where you just need more units. You can take some removal out, put these guys in, keep the pressure on the base. 2 Disabling Fang Fighters. These are for the lightsaber matchups, any of the upgrade matchups. They're okay against shields and stuff. I don't main deck them. We deal with shields in other ways in our main deck. And then a full playset of Vanquish for any matchup where the removal suite's not strong enough. You can take the making openings out, replace them with Vanquish. Vanquish is a 5. The problem with it is it's a 5, cost 5, so it's a little bit expensive. So that's it. That's the deck. I'll put a graphic up with the entire deck list here, so you don't have to try to watch back and figure out what I'm putting where here. I know this was kind of a jumbled video, but mostly, like I said, I just wanted to build Director Krennic because we got lucky on a box, and I think it's pretty cool. So I think we made a pretty good deck out of this. I plan on playing this live tomorrow, tomorrow is Wednesday. So I plan on playing this live. I'll throw an update in the comments, let everybody know how I did, and then I've got some gameplay from Force Table that I can put up here as well. So if you enjoyed this content, go ahead and smash that like button. If you want to find your way back here for more Star Wars Unlimited content, hit that sub button. As always, thanks for watching and have a great day.
heathens gone